What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be watching Spider-Man 2, my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time, my favorite comic book movie of all time, and one of my favorite movies, period, of all time. I've been dying to take a look at this movie in full, in detail, so I can give you guys my commentary because, man, oh man, I have a lot to say. I'm not going to try to drag this out, though. I'll just say what needs to be said, but I am very excited to get to this movie. So without any more time wasted, let's get right into this. Once again, the opening credits, I never skip it. I love the score. I love how it basically retells the first Spider-Man movie in about 4 to 5 minutes. It's incredible. I love it. I never skip it, and neither should you. And the first 3-4 minutes, we already got like a little conflict going on. He's got a pizza to deliver in a certain amount of time, or else he's gone, done. You know, what a fun way to start this movie. You know, I just love that these Spider-Man movies always try to remind you that it's about fun. It's about fun. Now, there's some darker moments in these movies, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, they are fun films. And if this doesn't capture it perfectly, who doesn't love that line? Who doesn't love that line? Man, the extras in this movie specifically, they were great in the first one, but in this one, where do they find these people? They are incredible, man. Amazing, amazing. That CGI still holds up, man. It still holds up. Looks great. But he's still going to give him that pizza that guy touched with his hands almost in his mouth to the customers? No way. That's disgusting. This is just classic Peter Parker humor. You know, this is the type of stuff that would happen to Peter Parker, and it's fantastic. But this woman right here, oh my God. And I've seen this movie dozens of times, but she never fails to anger me. She never fails. Good on her, though. The acting's great. Ah, yes, J. Jonah Jameson. One of the best parts of the previous movie and one of the best parts of this movie. And he loses his job. J. Jonah Jameson is always giving him a hard time. He's about to fail this class. He's on the brink of failing this class. You know, in the first 10 minutes, there are already so many things to sympathize with this character. This character is like me and you. Real life problems. It's not the problems that the big billionaire superheroes usually have. These are relatable issues, and it's only going to keep getting worse for Peter as the movie goes on. It's only going to keep bringing him down, but I think that's where the heart of this movie really shines. It's a movie that all of us can relate to. Obviously, we're not Spider-Man, clearly, but the human struggles, the problems we all face as people, we can all relate to this movie, and I think that's the beauty of this movie. And that dynamic, once again, of Harry, you know, liking Peter but hating Spider-Man. Obviously, he doesn't know that he's Spider-Man, but this character struggle is just going to get worse and worse, and it's going to develop and develop, and we're going to see this once friendship just become something new. Her performance is just heartbreaking. She will forever and always be the only Aunt May in my eyes. There will always be good interpretations of her out there, but Rosemary Harris will always be the Aunt May in my eyes. And once again, I'm going to defend Mary Jane and their relationship in these movies. This scene right here is really heartfelt. It's really emotional. I think they're both doing well with their performances. I think the dialogue is pretty good too. Obviously, we're going to get into some problems later in the movie, but again, I don't think it's anywhere as near as bad as people make it out to be. Not even close. I think she does a great job in this movie. I really, really do. Oh man, I love Mr. Dickovich, another comedic relief character, I would say, in this movie. It's great. He's great. Once again, man, we see Peter's apartment. It's not good at all. I mean, look at it. It's so run down. It's small. You can barely pay for the thing. Once again, we are Peter Parker. In one way or another, we are this character. And the introduction of what I believe probably to this day is still the greatest Spider-Man villain of all time. I really do believe that. I think Doc Ock is so layered. His motivations are clear. They make sense even if you don't agree with them. You can see where he's coming from. And I think this character is so well done in this movie. And I'll be hard pressed to find a Spider-Man villain done as well as Doc Ock was in this movie. all the characters in this movie are so well written, and they're people. Even this interaction with Doc Ock and his wife and Peter, it's a very real conversation. It's not forced. It doesn't feel like I'm being shown something for the sake of, just character development. These are people. I am watching these people interact with each other in this man's home. And that is a true testament to the directing, to the performances, to the writing, just everything about it. He really can't catch a break at all, man. Can't even do his laundry right. This is one of 2 musical montages that there are in this movie. And what else more can I say? It's well done here, and it's going to be well done in the next montage we see in this movie. So props to you, Sam Raimi. You just knew what you were doing with this movie, man. He is great. He is great. First action sequence, 25 minutes in. See, feels about right. You get a little bit of action in this otherwise very drama-filled story. And it's great. It's Sam Raimi. You get your practical effects, you get your visual effects. Good blend of both. It's phenomenal. Once again, Bruce Campbell makes his appearance in this movie, and it's so good. It might be my favorite cameo in these Spider-Man movies. The third one is also really good, though, when he's in the restaurant. It's great, but this might be my favorite. It's so good. You can never have too much Bruce Campbell. Man, you can see a part of Peter just shatter when he saw that, and it's just like it's almost like a breaking point. We're not nearly there yet. Obviously, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. We're not there yet. But it's all these little things that just keep amounting on him. It's going to cause him to snap. And I love the swing sequences in this movie. They look so good. Well, when he's actually swinging and not falling down. Oh, this is phenomenal. I love everything about this scene. I don't know who doesn't. This is so good. And I wish more superhero movies nowadays would do more things like this. Just almost awkward humor, This is great. I cannot stress enough how great it is to see a practical person in that suit at times. It really just sells all of these scenes that we see of Spider-Man, doing action type things. It's just great. It's great. Oh man, one of the darkest scenes in all of comic book movies, I would say. This is straight Evil Dead. This is straight up Sam Raimi, and I love every second of this scene. So good. So good. And Doc Ock has lost everything. His wife, his lifelong science project, what else does he have other than to try to finish what he started? And again, I understand where he's coming from. I get his motivations. I don't agree with him, clearly, but I get it. I understand. One of the greatest scenes in this movie, this bank heist scene, it's so incredible. It's so well done. I actually have a whole video out on why this scene is so great. So I guess I'll just stop talking. And if you want to see why I love this scene so much, just go ahead and check that out. And this is where the relationship between Peter and Harry is forever going to be tarnished. Forever. This is the scene that did it. And it's not going to get much better from here on out.
I just want you all to know that the beautiful Miss Mary Jane Watson has just agreed to marry me.
And just another blow to Peter. Just another thing to bring him down. Just another thing to ruin Peter even more. He sees the love of his life with another man. And not only is she with him, but they're going to get married. They're gonna get married. What else could go wrong? Well, we'll be seeing that shortly. Man, that CGI is beautiful. That suit still looks incredible. And this movie's 16 years old, and this just looks great. So good. And this scene with Uncle Ben is just heartbreaking because, he was meant to have this responsibility to do what's right. And Peter finally snapped. He finally had enough and said, I can't do this anymore. And that's going to lead him to this iconic shot of him putting the suit in the garbage and just walking away. What a powerful scene. Powerful. And we're going to get the next musical montage, which so fantastic. It's so fantastic. This song, I probably can't play it because of copyright, but if you've seen the movie, you know how great the song is and how well it complements this scene. So good, so good. And once again here, she can be seen as kind of unlikable, but she does have a point, you know. Just because he did go to one play of hers doesn't mean she can just, you know, call off the marriage, you know what I'm saying? Like, she does have a point. I think the performance could have been done differently so that we wouldn't think she's so unlikable. But I do understand where she's coming from, definitely. Just seeing the sadness on his face as he looks out into the distance, just knowing that Spider-Man isn't out there to save the day anymore. And he knew that Spider-Man was a good person, you know? And there was some very clear indicators that he knew that Peter was Spider-Man. You know, it was never outright said, but I think he knew. I think he knew. One of the heaviest scenes in the entire Sam Raimi trilogy is this, when Peter has to reveal to Aunt May that he indirectly caused Uncle Ben's murder. It's so well done. It's just so well done. You know, there's not a lot going on. There's 3 main shots they use, and the final reveal is just this wide shot of both of them in the frame as Aunt May just walks away. She has nothing to say. And this just proves that just because Peter isn't Spider-Man and he's, you know, not using his webs, doesn't have the suit on, he's still a hero. He is still a hero as a normal person. And I think that communicates to us that we can all be heroes just as normal people. We don't need a suit. We don't need to shoot webs out of our wrists. We're normal people that can be seen as heroes to everybody else, you know, just based on our actions. And this is going to be one of the scenes that just changed the way Peter views his break from being Spider-Man. And, you know, it's definitely going to cause him to think about things. And yet another beautiful scene again. What's the coincidence? Aunt May again, and another beautiful scene in this film. The scene where she talks about heroes to Peter. It's so great, and every time I see it, it makes me emotional. It really does, because of her performance, because of Peter's performance. He's not even saying much, but he says a lot by not saying anything at all, right? So it's just everything in this movie is working together in tandem to create these scenes and sequences that just hit you. They just make an impact, and this is no different. And again, this is when Mary Jane finally knows, you know, the upside down kiss that her and Peter shared. It's not the same with this guy. It's not the same, and you can see it right on her face. This is not what she's meant to do. She's not meant to marry this man. And how tragic that when she comes to her realization, Peter does as well. You know, they just can't have what they want. They can't, and it's very unfortunate. Oh yes, the train scene. Oh goodness, what needs to be said about this that hasn't been said already? Great scene. Probably the greatest action scene in any comic book movie ever. It's so well done. The CGI, the practical fighting choreography, everything about it. It's so intelligently done. Spider-Man fights with intelligence. It's all so great. And even when the fight's over, we'll talk about it when we get there, but there's more to be had. So Doc Ock leaves, and he's just setting them up for a crash on this train. Peter has to think. He has to think of what he's going to do to save these people on this train. They're about to fall off the end of the railroad, you know? So he has to think quick, and he does. And thankfully, his quick thinking is gonna save the day. And I've said beautiful so many times, but once again, this is a beautiful moment in this movie. They all save Peter from falling off into the ocean, and you know, they all see his face. They all know what Peter looks like now, and you can see the fear in Peter's eyes, knowing that these people know him. These people know him without the mask, and for a moment he's freaked out, but just seeing how everyone is, you know, going to comply and not tell anybody that he is Spider-Man. It's beautiful. And of course, in 2020, you know, everybody would have their phones out and take photos, but this isn't 2020. This is 2004. And the fact that I'm able to buy this scene, you know, that I'm willing to believe these people won't give out his identity, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Oh man, I will always remember the first time I saw this. Harry's reaction, the initial reaction to seeing that Peter is Spider-Man. This could have been done so poorly, but James Franco's performance is so good. So good. This could have gone so wrong, but it just works. It works so well. And the last action sequence of the film, you know, when all of New York is about to be sucked into this perpetual sun. Thankfully, Peter comes and he's going to, you know, save the day, save Mary Jane from being sucked in this sun. And at the very least, even though Doc Ock has done some bad, he's going to go out doing some good. He's going to get rid of this, but it's not going to come without a sacrifice, and that's going to be his life. Which I believe that's what makes this villain so incredible, is he was able to turn around and become a good person in the end. Even though he did some wrong, he was able to redeem himself, in my eyes. And this moment is great, you know. They're near moments from death, and she finally knows Peter is Spider-Man. Finally knows, and it's like everything clicks in her head. Now she understands why he was acting the way he was acting, why he was doing the things he was doing, and it's just nice to see that she can finally know what was really going on behind the scenes. And again, the setup, even for Harry to be the only villain in Spider-Man 3, which is the way it should have been, but it wasn't, unfortunately. There was that setup, and he could have been incredible in the third film had he just been the sole villain. It could have been so well done, but we all know how that ended up, and we'll get to that when we get to that. I mean, I do kind of feel bad for him, though. She just bailed on him on his wedding day. Wedding day? That's tragic. So tragic. But she's coming to be with the person that's meant for her, and that's Peter Parker, finally. They both get what they want, even though Peter will always have some worry about her. This is what he wants, this is what she wants, and this is what's meant to happen, you know? And we end it with a beautiful, again, final swing. I think every Spider-Man movie should have this, and they don't all do, but I think they all should, because it's just such a staple, and it's great. I love the music. Of course, Danny Elfman always nails it. The just seeing Spider-Man swing, I just love the way it looks. I love the way it makes me feel because of the score in the background, and it makes you feel heroic. It makes you feel like you just watched a superhero epic, which you did, but it really solidifies that, and it ends this movie with a bang. It ends this movie, and you are given such a good impression of this film, of what you just witnessed, what you just saw, and it just leaves you feeling fantastic. Guys, that was Spider-Man 2, one of my favorite movies of all time, by far and away. I adore this film to death. But the question goes right back to you guys. Do you love Spider-Man 2 as much as I do? Because I'll admit, I'm kind of obsessive. I won't lie to you. I love this movie with all my heart. I really do. I think it's fantastic. I think it is phenomenal. But again, I want to know what you guys think about this film. What do you think? Do you love it? Do you hate it? You know, give me your opinions or your thoughts down below. Let me know what movie you'd like to see me commentate on. There are plenty of movies I could see out there in the universe, and I could give you my thoughts. So let me know what you'd like to see in the comment section down below. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all next time.